Not everyone knows that a strange-looking creature that looks like it came from prehistoric times can bring in more than $500,000 per shipment. But that is the geoduck, a giant clam that lives deep under the cold sand along the American coast, considered the living gold of the ocean. Their value lies not only in their rarity or their distinctive sweet taste, but also in the fierce race to keep them alive throughout their journey halfway around the world. Why is a clam species so expensive that Asian culinary experts are willing to pay a fortune for it? What is it about its rough shell that makes it a symbol of luxury and class? And how do suppliers get them across the ocean as fresh as if they had just been pulled from the bottom of the sea? Go discover what it takes to ship $500,000 of geoduck clams across the Pacific. Imagine a species of seafood that lives deep under the cold sand, is shaped like an elephant's trunk, and lives for more than 100 years, but each one is worth hundreds of dollars. That's the geoduck, or elephant clam, a strange creature sought after by high-end foodies for its sweet, crunchy, nutritious meat, especially when made into sashimi, which can cost up to $400 a plate. Geoduck live in cold waters like the west coast of the US and Canada, take 5 to 7 years to mature, and cannot be artificially bred. They must be kept absolutely alive when exploited, because if they die, they lose almost all their value. With each shipment worth up to $500,000, geoduck is truly living gold under the sand, a natural treasure reserved only for those who understand enough to appreciate it. Every morning, as the tide recedes to reveal the cold, sandy shoreline, a group of divers begin what they call living gold mining. Not real gold, but geoducks, strange creatures worth hundreds of dollars each, lurking deep beneath the sand. Geoducks are not easy to harvest. They bury themselves about 2 to 3 feet below the surface, clinging tightly to the dense sandy soil. Fishermen cannot use picks or shovels. A single hard hit will damage the geoduck's soft body, reducing its value to almost nothing. Therefore, each geoduck must be rescued delicately. Divers use a special tool, a high-pressure hose, to spray water into the sand, creating a vortex that loosens the soil. After a few minutes of water digging, the geoduck's trunk begins to emerge, wriggling gently in the cold water. Carefully and slowly, the diver used his hands to pull this precious creature up, making sure not to break the shell or tear the flesh. They only collect a few dozen each time they dive, but with a selling price of $150 to $300 per fish, this job is enough to generate a good income if the weather is favorable and the body can withstand the cold water of only about 8 degrees Celsius. After harvesting, geoducks are washed with cold seawater, brought ashore for careful inspection and sorting. Only the large, healthy, undamaged ones are eligible for export. The rest are sold domestically or discarded. Next comes strict quarantine. Each one is stamped with traceability tags, temperature monitoring, and harvest time. Any mistake, no matter how small, can result in a $500,000 shipment being returned.
It's a gooey duck world. In the middle.
The harvest is over, but the real race is just beginning. The clock is ticking, and the transporter has just 36 hours to get the geoduck across the Pacific Ocean before it stops breathing. Once the geoduck is lifted out of the water, the race against time officially begins. With an offshore lifespan of just 36 hours, any delay could mean $500,000 worth of cargo becoming trash. No insurance company will cover these living treasures. Geoduck is extremely sensitive, requiring a strict transport environment simulating the deep sea. Maintain temperature of 0 to 2 degrees Celsius, high humidity, stable oxygen. Each fish is placed in a specialized insulated box, lined with gel ice and seaweed and equipped with continuous monitoring sensors. Less than 36 hours to bring Geoduck to a high-end dining table in Shanghai, a journey that seems easy but is not simple at all. Traffic jams, technical problems, customs delays, any factor can turn into a disaster. Specialized vehicles must ensure strict micro conditions with a system of sensors constantly monitoring. David, the supervisor, always kept an eye on the indicators. I have shipped more than 300 lots, but if it is just a few hours late, it is considered a total loss. After nearly 30 hours of continuous transportation, the $500,000 Geoduck shipment finally arrived at its destination, a high-end restaurant in downtown Shanghai. The value of a geoduck is not just in its taste. It is the reward for the chain of efforts behind it, from the fishermen diving into the cold sand, to the technicians checking its preservation, to the logistics team that traveled nearly 9,000 kilometers without a single mistake. From American waters to Asian dinner tables, each geoduck is a feat of craftsmanship. And tomorrow, a new journey begins. With demand skyrocketing from wealthy Asians, the profits from each geoduck trip can double or even triple the investment costs. That's why companies are pouring money into preservation technology, their own supply chains, and teams that are ready to respond around the clock. If the geoduck is a silent giant that lives buried deep under the sand, the octopus is an ocean magician, transforming, hiding, and constantly challenging humans amidst the fierce waves. And the hunt for the octopus, the most intelligent creature in the ocean, is truly a breathtaking battle of wits between humans and nature. Octopuses are one of the most difficult seafood species to hunt. They are intelligent, can shapeshift, and disappear in a split second. But that very challenge makes them expensive trophies, sought after in Japan, Korea, and across Europe. During the peak season, old wooden boats ply the cold depths. There, divers plunge into the depths with nothing but a trident and a basket. No oxygen tanks, no safety ropes. They have only a few dozen seconds of breathing, their hearts racing, and a breathless hunt in less than 2 minutes. They follow the fragile traces, disturbed sand, a few slip marks on rocks, or neatly folded shell fragments, signs of an octopus's lair. With a precise stab and a strong tug, if they are lucky, they pull up a 4-kilogram creature, coiled like a living tornado. But the biggest challenge isn't catching it, it's getting back alive. One big wave can capsize the boat, one dive too deep can overwhelm your lungs, and a change in the wind can turn the entire trip into a disaster in an hour. Still, a successful haul, about 6 tons of octopus, or more than 13,000 pounds, could net them nearly $900,000 if properly preserved and shipped at the right time. It's a reward for daring, skill, and luck in the middle of a stormy sea. But behind the huge profits are countless costs. Wounds from tentacles, moments of panic in murky water while diving alone, and returning in the middle of the night with empty hands, only the cold wind and the salty taste of failure. For them, each kilo of octopus is not just money. It is blood, it is will. It is proof that they have faced the fierce sea without retreating. Because the ocean is not easy, but it always tests before bestowing rewards to the most courageous. In this game, the choice is clear. Either bow to the ocean or tame it in exchange for a fortune in blood and sweat. As soon as the octopus is hauled up from the depths, the race to keep it alive begins. They are processed quickly. They are put into cold storage or ice on board the ship, where the temperature is strictly controlled to stop the decomposition process. When fully loaded, the boat heads back to port at top speed, where traders are waiting to purchase the loot just recovered from the ocean. Once on shore, the octopus is thoroughly washed with seawater to remove sand, slime, and impurities. They are then sorted by size. Large ones are kept whole for high-end dishes, while small ones are processed according to the requirements of each market. The next journey takes place in the processing plant, where every step is meticulously and precisely executed. Each fish is turned upside down, and the organs, ink sac, and inedible parts are removed, ensuring perfect cleanliness and the highest hygiene standards. Some special batches are also flash boiled in boiling water at just the right time to preserve their attractive color, natural crispness, and extend their shelf life. The product is then flash frozen or deep frozen at -40 degrees Celsius to lock in all its freshness. In the final step, the octopus is vacuum-packed, labeled with clear traceability and production date, ensuring transparency and safety. All are standardized to be ready to step out into the world, from the domestic market to Japan, Korea, and Europe, where octopus is not only food, but a symbol of freshness and quality. Harvesting 6 tons of octopus in the middle of the ocean is challenging enough, but turning them into perfect sashimi slices is an equally elaborate journey. Each one is cleaned with coarse salt, the head turned, the organs and squid glands removed, each step meticulously to preserve the original purity, sweetness, and freshness. Depending on the dish, octopus can be sliced raw to retain its crispness and sweetness, or blanched quickly and then shocked to create firmness and a beautifully patterned skin, something gourmets always appreciate. Octopus sashimi is not just a dish, it is the crystallization of craftsmanship, absolute freshness and courage in the depths of the sea. And that is why 6 tons of octopus can bring in nearly $1 million. What impressed you the most on this journey? Leave a comment, like and follow so you don't miss the next exciting discoveries at the bottom of the ocean.